Hi, I'm Rebecca Ruth, and welcome to Designing with Intention.
We are here with Deb Monfette. She is the irresistible content coach, and I'm so excited to chat with you because I know so many people would love help with developing a content plan. So I think your insights are going to be amazing for this interview. And then also after this, we're going to jump on Clubhouse and have a more in-depth where you can ask questions and Deb will give some answers. So to get started with like some pre-kickoff questions for the interview, I would love to know what maybe some of the favorite companies or products that you've worked on over your career.
Okay, hi Rebecca. That's a great question and an easy answer too. When I was in corporate, one of my startups was with a 3D package design system. It was a design access studio. It was one of the first in the country, and I was working with a printer in Connecticut. And one of my clients was Playtex. Great client, by the way. And we did a redesign of the entire Germac line of hair care products on the 3D package design system. So it was a matter of convincing them or making them feel comfortable with completely changing their design process. So it was really hand-holding, working with them for hours, many hours, just to show them an introduction of the system and to make sure they understood how it worked. So it was a matter of, showing them the possibilities because they had no idea what it was about. It was when 3D first hit the design world. It was very, very new. That's why we were one of the first in the country. And so what we did was we positioned their products actually on a 3D store shelf. So we created about 60 design variations and went from print to production in just under 4 weeks. And it usually, their cycle was 6 months.
Wow.
So we really, just nailed it, and they loved it. And they walked away with designs that they had no idea they could do that quickly.
That's amazing. Love that. And then what about what are some of your favorite resources around helping people figure out how to come up with a marketing plan?
Well, I really call it a strategy first. If you don't have a strategy, a plan is just a to-do list in my eyes. So you really need a strategy first. So I've gathered extensive experience over my 30 plus years around, in the business. And my process I developed was design your vision, create an experience, and expand your reach. And a lot of facets are in each one of those 3 areas. So that's my favorite resource, because I've added resources within each of those. And what I like to do is I like to break things out in mind maps. I'm a real mind map person because it's visual and you can easily move things around. So that's what I like to do for designing any type of strategy or plan.
Oh, that's great. Mind maps are I think that's it's much more of a new kind of concept that's being taught a lot more, but I think it's definitely kind of a very creative way of kind of organizing your thoughts visually. So I love mind maps. What do you think are the most successful kinds of lead magnets that are out there?
Okay. I always look at the 3 I's. So inform, inspire, and influence action. A lot of lead magnets are just doing the informing, whether it's a list, a checklist, and they leave it at that. And they don't put much time into it. But I look at a lead magnet as your first impression. So if you were going to go into an interview, would you just wear cut off jeans and a t-shirt, and just slap it on in 5 minutes? You wouldn't do that. So I look at a lead magnet as, a first impression of you and your business. So you not only need to inform people, but you need to inspire them with the information, and then you need to influence them to take action on it. So those are really the most successful kinds.
Okay, that's great. And then I know we've talked a lot personally because we know each other aside of just doing this interview. But different ways, different people consume content differently. And so, oftentimes the strategy with creating a content or or creating your content strategy or your content plan is to think about, you know, your ideal client and like how they like to consume content. But I'm curious, like, what is your favorite way of consuming content? Like, how do you like to get information from people?
Well, you know, it's a good question. And the answer is there's not one way, because it depends on where I'm at in terms of my buying journey. A lot of times at the beginning, I really value the visual aspects, whether it's a video, whether it's, I love graphics, anything visual. But when I'm getting deeper into the process, I really need to read something. I really need to see the facts and the research, and even if it's a video to show me how to do something that speeds up the process.
Mm-hmm.
That's even like podcasts, and I do a lot of note taking. So whatever I do, I try to take notes,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, and then visually figure it out.
Yeah, I read somewhere that I think like taking notes helps you retain the information like 80% more than not taking notes. So I definitely think taking notes is very helpful. And also like writing notes as opposed to like typing them into the computer. There's something with that like synapse in the brain that just helps you retain the information better. So I've always been a big note taker. I'm trying to like hybrid the like between the two now, because I feel like I end up with so much stuff all over the place when it's all written on different notebooks or different pads or whatever, and then it's like, wait, where did I put that? So then try to write it, but then also transferring it into some kind of digital organization system, I think could be helpful.
Well, so what I like to do is I prefer digital because my handwriting is not very good. I don't have patience for it, and I can type faster. So I can also grab in images. So I'll use like Scrivener. I just started looking at Notions and a couple other things, but Scrivener has saved my life.
Yeah.
I do that even with seminars and stuff.
Yeah.
And I know where to go.
I have the worst handwriting ever.
No, mine's worse.
I had it compared to like hieroglyphics. like it's not very legible except to me. So I'm
yeah.
hearing from
I can't even read my own writing sometimes.
That's too funny. Occasionally that happens to me too, but I like compulsiveness with like often rewriting things though, so I make sure that I can read it. But I love finding other people who are in the same boat.
And Rebecca, do you know what the most important design tool is?
What? Tell me.
The line. True. Everything we do starts with a line, whether it's illustrating, whether it's drawing, whether it's, you know, whatever you're doing, even if it's fashion design.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how that works. And then you know that the line creates emotion. So if you do squiggly lines versus curvy lines, and it all goes back to like the creative emotion.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you looked at my handwriting, you would feel very emotional.
There you go.
So
maybe that's why. For me too.
I was going to ask you is about when you were a kid, what did you think you wanted to do growing up?
I wanted to do something creative, but I never followed the trail of everybody else. I always tried to do things different. And I wanted to do something different, but I wasn't sure what. Mm-hmm. And then I realized once I graduated from high school, there were other alternatives that kept popping up, new innovations that I would jump onto that were creative. So, you know, you may not think you know, but then when you see the new inventions or the new innovations coming up, you'll know what taps into your creative mind.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's just about having the foundational elements.
It is.
In whatever area, and just making sure that's the right area. And then you can kind of further explore the options. I mean, that's part of like doing this interview series, is to kind of convey all of the different kinds of options in the arts, and that, you know, it doesn't have to be like you knew right out of high school or going into college. It could be something you decide later in life. That your road doesn't have to be a straight line in life. You can do curves, you can pivot, you can go around in circles, whatever makes sense, whatever kind of like the universe is throwing you signs, I think
Oh,
will,
definitely.
find the right